attention to the front of the room where we have a display of the website. I'm going to put this mic down now that I have your attention. So I've been working on this for a little while, and part of this comes out of the asset mapping program, and part of this comes out of wanting to create a directory of all the businesses in Putney and all the resources that we have. What this is essentially, it's a WordPress website, which gives us a lot of flexibility to make changes to how it looks. And then it's combined with sites that with code and sites that I've designed that include Google mapping capabilities. And there isn't much of a way to zoom that in. I'm sorry, you could all come get closer. But, there's much I can do, but this is the business listings. So far, we've added a bunch of business listings. And this is all dynamic, so when you click on a listing, say the Putney Diner, Google will pop up the information about that diner or about that resource. You can click a button to get directions to the resource. So you would just enter where you are and hit a button, and it will give you instant driving directions right to it. Or you can click on the item itself, and you would get a full listing and description and pictures and everything from that resource. So the goal is to have people self-enter their information and build out this system so that there's a complete listing of all the businesses, artists, local food establishments, and things like that. So the beauty of using something like WordPress is, if I can jump out there, is that it gives us a pre-made interface to make changes site-wide instantly without affecting the content. So I could be working on building content, and people can be working on adding events or adding their business descriptions and images. And it sort of decouples, it's a little bit technical, but it decouples the look of the site from the content. So it allows us to make changes to the site very quickly, and I'll show you just a preview of some of the different designs that we could do. So here it's just the snap of a button. Yes.
Does that mean that individual businesses could get in to make changes?
No. No. The Discover Putney group would look at a number of designs and say,
No,
we like this
when
one.
you said that you could go in and change content.
The content.
Who changes it?
So the content.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's all I needed to know.
Content of each resource, like for the Putney Inn, for example, you would log in and you would add your
I
events.
can only change for my business.
You would add your pictures, your description, events, and whatnot. And the same for every other resource. But because we're using a dynamic system, that is decoupled from the way the site looks. So here's another one that might be nice. It looks terrible on the screen, but it looks really nice on a laptop.
This is just a
design. This is just it. So the system we have is very flexible in terms of how it looks, and we could add all kinds of functionality to it. Really at the click of a button. So that's the really quick view of the Discover Putney website so far, and it has a lot of potential to be something that is really the nexus for the schools, the interface, the apprenticeship program, the mapping overlays that Michael wanted to add in, and I think that these are all brilliant possibilities for us to look at. So that's my 4-minute presentation.
Nice
There's a number of, the site is live and you're welcome to go to it. There's a number of unfinished parts of it, but it's really just it's a work in progress. I like this interface because, as you slide over, these are actually...
slider. Let's have a homepage slider.
Right. So the artists aren't listed just because I didn't get the coding together, but we did go through and add many businesses.
So it's discoverputney.com?
Right now it's at, it will be discoverputney.com and discoverputney.net and discoverputney.org. I just registered all three, so there's no confusion.
Okay.
Right now it's just at a URL, but later today I can put those two together.
So if we wanted to get online you'll tell us how to.
Yeah, and I was experimenting with various layers here so that you can, various techniques of displaying data on various layers. Here's one. So that farms are listed, and the healers are listed, and restaurants are listed separately. And so part of the work is I wanted to add another picture on the end, and the code was actually quite complicated for that, so I'm still struggling with figuring it out because I didn't design this slider. But roughly these images align with the menu links up at the top. So that's where I am so far. Suggestions are welcome.
I just checked with Paul, and it seems that the 18th is going to be when the asset mapping group has kind of a pulling together all the lists and categories that have been sort of under the asset mapping rubric, so that folks who have been pulling together data from different parts of town and different groups of resources are going to try and collate it so that you get the final list of whatever might be the, sort of what people think are the most important things to draw attention to.
Great, that's great. I think that the work of of that group is to figure out the hierarchy, the categorization structure, because that determines how you create the database and how you present everything. So it's great that they're identifying all the resources, and then but it's even better to figure out how those resources fit, in something that we can then redisplay in a coherent fashion.
That's what I'm going to try and do, is to structure it so that it relates to a database.
Yeah. Let me, if I may, just bend your patience for a moment. There's a back end to this that's not WordPress. That's something that I designed that will be for all the resources and businesses. So just give me one moment, and I'll try to pull it up. Nope, quite it. That was the precursor to it. There we go. How nice, it remembers my password. Let's see. Okay, so this would be what resources and businesses and whatnot. I'm sorry, it's a little fuzzy, but you would essentially go in and add a resource. So you give it a name and a street location, and this is critical. So if you do 120 Main, right, in Putney, and you add the zip code, then the next thing you do allows it to automatically map the geocodes and put in the latitude and longitude here. So the code is actually doing this for you, and the map comes up and you can see where it is. And then as you add that resource, it's automatically added to the Google Maps on the interface of the website. So this takes out a 5-minute search for your latitude and longitude location. So it's all automatic.
I was just talking to the woman who does the Windows of Vermont thing down at the Welcome Center. She was telling me about this whole thing that's way beyond my knowledge of technology. But nowadays on people's cell phones, there's something called a R code or something like that. It's like a
it's a little scan code. It's a little
square.
square.
Code. So you will be able to go there and
you point your camera at it, press a button.
At something, press a button, and you'll
Get all the info.
seems crazy.
It transports you right to the place.
In the future, that might be.
So you got to be careful when you use it.
Right. So that's pretty much where I'm at. This is the whole form. You fill in all the details. It's got meta tags. It's got description fields. Everything that search engines want to see. And yes.
Do you have to put an address? Say someone has an art studio.
Yeah, there are some requirements for this to function.
Maybe you
So.
have an art studio, you don't really want people showing up at your door, but you by appointment. So it's a requirement that you map yourself.
Well, I'm willing to work with businesses and resources to figure out how to optimally set this up. But in order to get on the map, you would have to enter your address. Yes?
I can't give out my address.
Right. So you may not want to be on the map.
I'm a stalker, so I don't want to give out my address.
Right.
But I want to be on there. So could we have maybe a transition Putney address, the office address, or I know.
Yeah, you can make up any address you want, I guess.
But for folks like she and I, could we have one address
Yeah,
everything else.
I suppose you could. The downside would be that all the little red pins would be in the same spot for everyone,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't be spread out like they
Well,
are.
I think, excuse me, I think that, as this progresses and as it develops, the individual needs and wants can be addressed. I really am I think we all are very grateful to Daniel for his generosity.
Grateful.
So what I would like to do is we're finally getting moving. There's actually been some movement forward on our most current effort to revive the Discover Putney Council, Discover Putney Association. We're going to be starting just really very, very simply in terms of what the organization is and what our primary missions are. Primary mission is. We would like to be a collective effort to simply market our community to the public in the best way that we can, in the most economical way that we can, efficacious, efficient, and professionally. In years past, it was merely a group of folks that got together, threw their money together, and together decided what pieces, where they wanted to advertise. And as the world has grown in technology, so has the sophistication or the needs and the wants and the desires. We have, we've been working on this. There has been a group that has been getting together now for over 10 years. We've put a lot of energy into a concept, and this is the concept that we, at this time, are going to run with. And if we need imaginations as we go along, we, as a group, can make that sort of democratic decision. We have an organization formed. We have officers. Yes, I'm going to name them. I wasn't able to attend the last meeting. I was elected president.
That's what happens when you don't attend.
Daniel is our vice president.
No. I'm the secretary.
Okay, you're the secretary. Okay, Robin's the vice. Who's the vice president? Okay, I'm sorry. And it was Robin that told me you were the vice president.
No, it was me.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So,
already the fun starts.
yeah. All right, so I know that I'm the president. I know that Robin is vice president. And I'm sorry, Daniel, you're?
I'm secretary.
Secretary.
But that
and
doesn't mean I'm going to take notes at every meeting.
okay, and Kate will be our treasurer. Kate has done a lot of footwork on incorporation.
Can I give Kate a check for $50?
Be honored, would be honored. Thank you very much.
You are now a friend of the Putney Inn.
Yeah, Putney, yeah. And I do need the research, yeah, okay. Yeah, so we do have a core group that has committed, and I think we have slightly over $1,000 at this point. At the meeting, we will be keeping the money in a local institution. These were the decisions that were voted upon. Kate will be fronting us the $75 for the filing fee, for which she'll be reimbursed. And I just read the slate of directors. So
Directors and boards.
yeah, board. Consensus will be our objectives in all of our meeting. It will be a majority rule. And we agreed that the server list will be a private list. I guess it will be managed by our IT person
And our secretary.
and the secretary. What we have agreed on is that supporting members is that $250, and it costs $250 to have a vote. You can either vote by proxy or in person, and participants in the organization do need to be Putney residents or business residents
For that category.
for that category. Thank you. Participating members at $150 will not have to vote, and then they also need to be Putney businesses or residents. And then we welcome all friends. Yes, Kate?
Someone asked at that meeting difference in terms of benefit of being a participating member and a friend, and that we haven't come up with the details of that, but basically the participating members will have more exposure benefits in terms of being on the website in different ways or any publicity. So there will be those categories are not just a name; they're about sort of how much you get to some extent.
Actually, I'll relinquish the floor to you and ask you to maybe do the review of the incorporation and what the last meeting, the results of the last meeting as you had just started.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Kate Dodge. My husband and I own the Putney Mountain Winery, and in part because I'm a former lawyer, I took on the creating of the business form. We've incorporated as Discover Putney, Inc. It'll be a mutual benefit corporation, which just means it's a nonprofit, but it's not going to be federally tax exempt. And the difference is that we will be able to accept charitable donations, or we can accept them, but the people who donate them won't get a deduction. Randy has said we created at the last meeting this roster of directors and officers because we had to have something to start with. Once we have a group of voting members, which is to say the top 250 supporting member category, then we will finalize bylaws and we will elect, either the same there'll be an election of officers at that point, and decide whether we actually need a board or whether everybody in the group is the board, essentially. And so that's sort of any regular corporation. And others of it we can decide when we actually have a membership group and have a formal meeting. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I might forget to tell people things because I'm a lawyer and I don't know what people don't know about this kind of thing.
Okay, one of our main goals is to create this group as a marketing organization, and that activity is going to be something we're looking to basically have a professional do.
Right.
So an RFP is in the process of being created. It's not perfect. It's a humbling experience creating an RFP because there's a lot to it, as people have pointed out. So an RFP will go out, and essentially we're looking for someone to fill that role, to work with the web person, and to work with graphic artists, and to create a brochure for placement at the welcome centers, to look at the possibility of informational kiosks in town where people can walk up to something that might be a computer screen and touch various locations on the map and get more information about them, to really work on making Putney a destination. And that's something that as we're running our own businesses, we're not really going to have the spare time to do that. And so that's one of the main reasons for having an entity like this is to take the load off of, because Randy's website does so much to list, and a lot of our websites do so much to list of what's going on, but there's no central location, that really pulls it all together. So.
And also to, as I understand, one of the things that we do for this person, when we hire a product manager, to decide what kind of print advertising is best for us as well. I mean, and then really get the biggest bang for the buck for all of us. Because we're all, each of us, contacted by numerous folks. You got to be in this publication. It's really right up your alley, and it's just too much. It's too much money, and it's too much time. And it's not always the most effective.
Yeah, and you don't know how effective
right.
it is.
So Putney can have a